All right, James, we're back. We've got a killer interview lined up today. We've got George, CEO and founder of Buffs, coming on. George, you're making my favorite snacks, Cheetos, into a healthy snack with beef puffs. You're also coming out of Expo West last week, the biggest natural health expo in the world, and so we wanted to just get your take on, you're building a business in this space. You're coming out of the big trade show. Like, what was that experience like, and what are you seeing?
Yeah. Well, first of all, guys, thanks for having me. I'm super stoked. Um, Daniel is someone I look up to, and I think you guys are doing some amazing stuff with this podcast. So, thanks for having me on. Stoked to be here. I think Expo West. This is my second time around, so anyone coming to Expo West will tell you it is literally a fire hose of people and commotion and craziness. I can't believe there are that many people in the industry, and it's hard to believe that there's that much money to even go around to pay all these people. And so that's first. My always realization is like, how is there so many people in one place at the same time? And then my second is that how are there so many important people at the same place at the same time, which is I think where the magic happens for small brands like us. Is like, the CEO or president of Sprouts or Whole Foods is there, and every single buyer's there, and people that are making millions and millions that are basically celebrities are showing up to this place with people like us who are college seniors who just show up with a backpack and a dream. So it's an exciting place because a lot of very serendipitous and just stuff that you can't expect happens there. It's kind of where magic happens. So that was fun. It's if you guys heard anything about Expo this year, it was like everything is protein, which is what people expected. But I think the measures at which people took it to is just absurd. Like water protein and protein plus creatine, and every product you can ever imagine had a protein version of it, which I think is it was kind of cool to see for our side because I think the bet we took 2 years ago when we started making this product, we're making basically beef Cheetos. The bet we took was that people don't want to experience protein in every product that they have. They don't want water with protein. They don't want their cakes with protein. They don't want their donuts with protein. I think what people want is protein from the source, like the right sources. And it's not adding whey based or pea based or clear protein to every product. It's actual bioavailable protein in whole foods, in foods that they actually know where the protein is sourced from. And because like and anything in consumer, when a a thing like protein's commoditized, you start to try to get the products that are cream of the crop. So it's like you want protein that's actually sourced from the right places, that's high quality, that's not going to bloat you, that's not going to inflame your body. And so we believe that's where the industry is headed in the next 5 years, is back to the basics, is back to farm to table where protein is actually sourced from, instead of just like the number of protein or calories or macros that you can get in all your products. So that's a quick summary of where I think Expo kind of made us realize and where the industry's headed.
So two questions there. One is, if you're friends with Daniel and I, you mentioned this, you're a senior in college, but
Yes,
Daniel's been like talking about on Instagram and other channels that he has like Gen Z friends. So this is the Gen Z friend. I just want everyone to know that. It's George.
She's real.
I know. I like that. We got to get Chris, our editor, do the "Hello, fellow kids" Buscemi image right now of us. And then, but how did you end up, dude? Like 22, you got a lot of shit going on with school and everything. Like, how did you get in this business? You said 2 years ago. Like, what's sort of the founder story of how this all is, how you've gotten to this point? And by the way, like what you're building is like, as someone who, if you know me, I consume an unhealthy amount of beef jerky. I think it's like such a, this is going to be huge. But yeah, how'd you get there?
I appreciate that. Yeah, I think it's funny when I look back, like when I was a freshman or even in high school, if I told myself I'd be making beef Cheetos for a living, I would have laughed. I laughed at myself. I actually came from more of a tech background. I started like a nonprofit, like I started a thing called Pantry Go in high school, and it was essentially a DoorDash for food pantries. And so during COVID, we had a lot of food pantries that were giving out a ton of food, and a lot of, even in Orange County, a very wealthy area, there's a ton of people with food insecurity. And so we would take our high school volunteers that needed hours to graduate. They would go to these food pantries, pick it up on the app, and deliver it directly to these homes. And So I came from a tech side. I was a PM in high school, like an intern, like 16. My next door neighbor was a CTO of like a pretty big tech company, and I literally knocked on his door asking for an internship and did some, sales and partnerships and BD when I was in early days of college at startups out of USC. So that was the side I came on, and I thought I was going to be like maybe the next Zuckerberg. I was going to do a consumer app. I was going to raise millions of dollars, move to San Francisco, and do all of that. And that's what I went to, USC and this school for. But I think what I realized, what me and my co-founder realized, who was my best friend growing up, was we both wanted to start a company. His dad was a big entrepreneur, started a company called Coyote, sold it to Sunset Studios for over 300 million. And he was always a builder in high school and middle school. And we just kind of like, we had this like hunger to start something. It wasn't supposed to be together, but like individually we wanted to. We knew that we weren't going to go the typical corporate route. That just wasn't what we felt like we were like we could give all ourselves to. And so what I tell founders nowadays when they ask me like, how do I know what to start? How do I know if it's a good idea? How do I know if I'm building in the right space? And I always say this, and I'm 22, so what do I really know? But I think this pattern for me has shown up is if you look at your life on a week to week basis and you look at like just numerically how many hours you're spending on what. For us, me and my co-founder, I'd say over 30 to 40% of our time was spent on our health and nutrition. So cooking food, working out, meal prepping, um, sauna, cold plunge, like this whole health and wellness space, we were naturally spending over 40% of our time on because we loved it. Like that was innately our passion was like what foods we are eating, how clean they were, no seed oils, no gluten, working out, getting sunlight, like biohacking, like all these stuff, like since high school, since our middle school days was so important to us. And if you want to start a company, you need to start it in a place in an industry that you have like a unique like insight. And it's cliche to say, but truly like a real passion for. And the passion isn't just like, what you think you're going to make the most money in or what you think you're best at. It's really like what you innately have so much interest that you spend the majority of your time in. And so like for us, like we know how hard consumer and CPG is. It's not like we're like, oh, that's a great way to make money. That's a great place to start a company because it can be successful. For us, it was like we have such a deep insight and love for like consumer and like products and like better for you things that like it just made sense for us to start there because we had a deep insight for it already. And then the idea of the product was just it kind of landed on our laps. It's one of those ideas that I think in retrospect were like it was so obvious, but because of just like the innate innovation of it, it didn't feel like it made sense. Like nobody has puffed beef up before. Nobody has thought to make animal protein into a salty snack. Like the best snacking experience is salty snacks. Everybody knows that. It's potato chips, goldfish, Cheetos, Cheez-Its, Pirates Booty. Innately, like that's what humans love to snack on. But because of animal protein, just the way that it like when you heat it up, it shrinks, it's tough, it's rough, it's always been jerky and sticks. And so we were just like, why isn't there? It was one of those products where like, why doesn't that exist already? And so we were naive 19-year-olds and we were naive enough to think that it would work. And so it's taken us this far, which is we're still very early, but I think this product is here at the right time and is ready. Like the market and the consumers are ready for a product like this.
We are very different, 22-year-olds. When I was 22, I think we're very different.
It's a little different, yeah.
No, but it's pretty incredible what you and your co-founder have done. I've tried buffs, and they're fantastic. I have my
Let's
orders
go.
already in. I've
Let's
ordered
go.
some for James.
Let's go.
But because you guys started it, at an interesting time. You're 19. You're juggling a bunch of stuff between school, between all the health kind of biohacking that you're doing, and just passionate about
Yeah.
starting this company. Like, I'm curious, how much did you use tech to kind of accelerate what you were able to do as like a bootstrap company, two kids? You guys went to school in different places. Your co-founder's in
Yeah.
Texas, you're in USC. Like, how much did tech play a role, or did it?
Oh, huge role. It's crazy. People ask me all the time, like, okay, like, so like, what food scientist did you use? What formulator? Like, do you guys have did you go to culinary school? Like, what's your background? Like, how did you make beef into like a puffy form. Like that's a science project. Like that's incredibly complex and difficult. People in the industry that have been there for 25 years are like, how did you do, like they don't know how we made this product. And we were like, it was literally Chat GPT and us.
No way.
And I think it's insane because I remember in the early, like when we were trying to make this product, we essentially were like, okay, we reverse engineered it and we're like, how do we make a Cheeto that's primarily made out of grass-fed beef and very clean ingredients with no carbohydrate base that most puff snacks or salty snacks are made out of? The majority is made out of pea, cornstarch, rice flour, wheat flour, or what, like all of these grains that are essentially empty calories. And so we literally went to ChatGPT and we're like, we want to do this. This is our vision. Give us every single thing we should try over the next 3 months. And it gave us all these things. And we kept going back and forth with it on like, okay, this was too dry. This was too dense. It tasted like a rock. Like, how do we, and what does ChatGPT know about, food science and product development? It's incredible. Just like the accessibility of a 19-year-old without any industry experience with no money, what they can build. I just think like tech was such a big part of it. And it was so natural to us. Like it just made, like, for our generation and generations younger, like the people, I think people are very scared, especially the older generations, of like, oh, like replacing jobs. I think that's true. And I think in the same way of the dot-com burst and like, in any big shift in like global history, it's like this is the biggest opportunity for our generation. There will be people that rise to the top, and those people are the people that can leverage artificial intelligence in such a way that makes them incredibly efficient and incredibly, like, just have way more leverage than all of their competition. And it's the people that can use the tech the best. It's not necessarily the people that are going to be replaced by the AI. It's really just the people that can leverage it, and spend 10% of the cost for overhead and employees because they can leverage all of these, tech stacks. So it was a huge part. And we couldn't have done it without ChatGPT. So maybe they should own a portion of our company. Honestly, at this point.
Co-founder.
Are they? Are you guys still like a ChatGPT like company, or have you become Claude pilled?
We're transitioning to Claude, to be frank. We still use chat for daily tasks. I do think it is great for just like daily conversation. But Claude seems to have a lot more deep thinking and actually executes it a lot better than chat does. So, but I will say, like, I think I could be using it a lot more. Like, I think I'm um, very still like get it done myself kind of person. And I think AI is it's not at the point where I can trust it to actually handle the majority of like the complex tasks and deep thinking. And I also think like at least my side of the business, like I'm always on the marketing, content, fundraising side. Those are a lot like relationship based. Those are a lot like very creative. It's a very creative job compared to my co-founder who runs all the finances and ops and manufacturing and very numbers heavy. Like you have to stand out on socials, and to do that you need to be very personable and you need to be very forthcoming outside of like what AI can handle. So I do think like script writing, planning, content scheduling, hooks, like that stuff AI has been amazing for that. But and the relationship side and fundraising and all that stuff, I still need to be very present. So it's maybe 25% of
Uh,
my job has been AI.
how much do you think of your guys' success has been? You guys are good marketers. Like, how much does that matter in all this?
I would say a lot. I would say a lot of our leverage in the early days, especially raising money and getting retailers to be interested in us, is based on just like we can get 20,000 followers and 5 million views in the last 90 days with zero marketing spend. Like I think 95% of CPG brands can't do that. Like they're stuck in the 1,000 to 2,000 to 3,000 follower range. And you would think that Instagram followers and TikTok followers isn't that important, but actually like the majority of retailers like I've literally talked to buyers at Target and retailers at Whole Foods, like foragers at Whole Foods, and they're like, they look at your Instagram following, they look at your community before they even look at your data, like because they want to know that you're relevant. They want to know that consumers that shop, their target consumers that walk into their store, they know of your brand before they even see you on shelf. And so for us to be able to do that with no marketing spend, and we know that like we have a continuous, like we have a reliable way to generate thousands and thousands of views and followers and outreach, that when we turn on the marketing engine and the paid side on the paid ads, on TikTok shop, we have like a very like lucrative, not lucrative. We have a very like exponential way to boost that money and significantly reduce CAC, significantly increase LTV, because we're able to continuously put out really good content that gets a lot of followers, gets a lot of traction, and a lot of engagement. And that's really special in today's like just like super crowded social media scene where every brand is trying to advertise their product. The ones that really work and cut through are the ones that can like decrease their CAC and have a good ROAS. And I think that starts with good organic strategy. So it's been really important.
Which app is like the most relevant now, like to you? Like between TikTok, Instagram, we used to work at Snap, so I have to ask, but I feel like it's not.
I think,
you're disappointed.
Yeah.
I think most e-com brands will say that Instagram is the most lucrative, like just like the most reliable revenue source. I think Meta and like the majority of their revenue comes from there. But I think the most like the one with the most firepower and like ability to completely change a company's trajectory is TikTok. Like TikTok shop, for brands that can blow up on TikTok shop, like there is no better way to like gain just like incredible traction and top line revenue than on TikTok shop, because of how easy it is for consumers to purchase products there. Like it's such a frictionless conversion from top of funnel video to purchase and fulfillment. It's like Amazon and advertisements came into one. Like the ease of shopping on Amazon with the ease of reaching customers, because everyone's already innately on TikTok shop, on TikTok to scroll. It's just incredible what that opportunity is for brands. It's very difficult for a lot of them to break through because they don't understand how organic works, and they don't understand how hooks work, and they don't understand how you actually gain traction and followers from there. So the ones who can figure it out, it's like I just know people, founders that are doing millions and millions on TikTok Shop, and they will never need to go into a retail store ever, and they will never have to have lower than a 90% margin because they just know how to work TikTok. It's literally it's very formulaic, and so I think that's the most important one for us in the brands.
But before we wrap, can you give like, what's the sort of cheat code, like the, basic cheat code for that? Like what is the key to the hooks?
So I'd say like the biggest thing in driving viewership and interest and engagement is an open loop. So if you look at our videos, the majority of the best videos are always start with a hook that creates an open curiosity gap. So it's like, what if steak crunched like this? So we have a steak in there and then we crunch it, and this is all in 2 seconds. It's extremely fast. And then when people are scrolling, they see a raw steak on their screen, and you tell them that you have steak crunched like this. You're like, what do you mean steak crunched like this? Like steak doesn't crunch like this. I need to watch the rest of the video. Or it's like, we made an addictive snack that's actually good for you. And you're like, what's the snack? Is it actually addictive? Is it actually good for me? Like, if you look at the best content out there, it's always creating this curiosity gap and asking a question of like, what if this was that? Or like, what if we did this? Or it's like, these are the top 3 things for you to make $1 million. Like, it's like people are always looking for value. And so when you open a curiosity gap, they want to close that gap with some sort of value or answer to a question or discovering something new. And so that's the main thesis, is like create open curiosity gaps in your videos. And then there's some very granular tips on like, you want to have a visual hook plus an audio hook plus a text hook in the first 3 seconds. And then you want to have a good CTA at the end. So, call to action, you want people to either comment or share or like or whatever, so that the engagement boosts to other people. So I feel like, if you can get those 2 things down, I think you can have a very good organic marketing strategy.
Yeah. Okay. Well, James, you and I got some work to do for ADSN socials using this now. You're going to see some new content, George. But
let's go.
we're gonna let you go. We don't get to say this, I think, ever on the history of ADSN, but we got to let you get back to class. But
Thanks, boys.
before we do,
Not that I'm showing up. Not that I'm showing up to class, but yes,
Yeah.
yes.
But before we do actually let you go, like, where can people find Buffs? Like, where can they go get this new addictive snack?
Yeah. Find us on Instagram at Eat Buffs. That's EATBUFFS. And then eatbuffs.co is where you guys can pre-order right now. And yeah, we hope to be in your favorite grocery store pretty soon. So watch out for us.
I've tried them.
Man.
Everyone should go buy these. These are going to blow up. They're great, man. You guys have done great. Appreciate you coming on. We'll have you back soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right, later, man.